Hi everybody, I'm Kurt, owner of Extreme Audio in Manitowoc, Wisconsin. Today we're going to do a step-by-step video on how to install one of our plug-and-play systems on this 23.5 CVO. First thing we're going to do is we're going to remove our 60 amp fuse, which is going to prevent us from getting any engine codes while we're disconnecting and reconnecting different things throughout the bike. All right, first thing we're going to do is remove our saddlebag. Get that out of the way. We're going to want to disconnect the stock wiring by pushing in this black clip and pulling it out. Set that aside and out of the way. Next thing we're going to do is remove our side cover. Just give it a little pull and it'll slide off. Then we're going to turn our ignition on and we're going to pull our 60 amp fuse. What that's going to do is prevent any engine codes from coming up. It's also going to disable the alarm so we don't have the siren blasting in our face when we're disconnecting the battery. Next thing we're going to do is remove the fairing, but before we do that, we're going to cover the fender with a fender cover. Just in case you drop some screws, we don't want to scratch anything, want to keep everything protected. First thing we're going to do is remove the 4 T25 screws and remove the windshield. You can use a hand tool if you prefer. I prefer to use a drill. If you don't have a lot of experience with that, I would recommend using the hand tool. Then we're going to set that aside. Next thing, I'm going to remove the windshield side holders. Those are also a T25. Next thing we're going to do is remove this black cover. It just has 2 little pop pins in there. Lightly pull back and you see these tabs are what holds it in. Then we will remove this top plate. Be careful of these that hold the windshield in. They do tend to fall out. And you definitely don't want to lose that, so make sure they stay in and set that aside. Next, we're going to remove the grills. Be careful, there are 2 tabs under here that you don't want to break. So keep a little pressure on the bottom, pull it out, kind of work it out. You can see those are the tabs that I was talking about. Then we can remove our 2 screws on each side. Next thing, I'm going to remove the 2 screws down low. You can keep these top ones in, you only have to remove the bottom ones. So we have 4 screws left. We're going to leave these in for last, and we're going to take out these screws next. So once these come out, the fairing will be loose. So I'm going to keep some weight on it while I pull out the last 2 screws. Once those 2 screws are removed, we can pull our fairing off. Once you have the fairing off, you can set that aside. Next, we're going to remove our headlight. 2 screws here, 2 screws behind. So we'll start with the ones behind. There's also 2 down low. Last, we're going to remove these 2 screws. Then you want to unplug. Push down on a little tab and slide it off. So now that we have the headlight out, we're going to relocate this headlight wire. I'm not sure why Harley ran it over everything, but we can simply tuck it down and run it behind the headlight, which makes a lot more sense. Plus, it'll be out of our way for the amplifier. Next, we're going to remove the Rockford Fosgate factory amplifier to make room for our amplifier. To remove the wiring harness, simply slide this red tab back, push down on the black tab, and wiggle it free. Next, we're going to take out this home link. Basically, this is for a garage door opener, and it's on all the CVO bikes. We're going to remove it and relocate it behind the headlight. Next, we're going to remove our speakers. We're going to do that by taking the 4 T25 screws out. We're going to disconnect our wires. Your black is your negative and your white is your positive. This speaker has terminals terminated directly to fit your Harley. So you take the blue and the black, connect it together. Then you take your red and your clear, connect it together. Next, we're going to remove our seat. Now that we have our seat off, we're going to remove the gas tank so we can run the power wire. There's going to be a couple connections that we have to disconnect. There's a vent right here that we're simply going to pull out. The fuel line has to be disconnected, and you simply slide up this silver collar. So you slide up the silver collar. That will disconnect the fuel line. There's one more plug that runs up here from the gas tank that you have to reach up, push the tab, and slide the plug out. There's a little black tab right here that you push down. One more line that we have to disconnect up front. You're going to squeeze the rubber and disconnect that. But we're going to remove the gas tank. We're going to remove 4 bolts, 2 here and 2 up front. I found it easier to get at these bolts by removing this top bolt. And sliding that out. So there's going to be these little grommets on here you're going to want to take off. Now that we have the 4 bolts out and the lines disconnected, all that's left is a vent that runs back here and it's connected to the frame. You want to lift up the tank and slide that vent out. There's little clips in there. Once you got that released, you can take the tank off. Next, we're going to run our power wire. First thing we want to do is cut the zip ties. There's some black tape. We're going to cut that. That's going to allow us to open up this channel where the power wire will run through. Loosen up the top cover. That's going to give you the channel that you want to run your power wire. Next, we're going to run our power wire underneath the tank. Now that we have our power wire ran, we're going to put our gas tank back on. We're going to want to put that vent line back in the frame. We'll connect the vent back up front. We're going to connect this wire back. We're going to connect our fuel line back. We're going to put our 4 bolts back in. Next, we're going to tie up our garage door opener. This will work anywhere up here. We've tested it. We're just going to zip tie it up under the headlight because there's plenty of room. We'll finish running our power wire. We're going to tuck it through this little bracket here. That's going to loop around and plug into our amp. We're also going to take up some of this excess headlight wire. I'm going to pull just a little bit on each side. This will run right with the stock wiring. And that gives us a nice plug for the headlight. So we're going to plug our headlight back in. We're going to route our wire up. We're going to slide in the headlight. Next, we're going to install our amplifier mounting plate. It's going to bolt right into the 4 existing spots that hold your Rockford factory amplifier. Next, we're going to install our amplifier. The amplifier has been pre-tuned and it's ready to go. No need to take the side cover off. Everything has been adjusted. It's going to plug directly into the A to B plug and the power wire. I like to start by putting 2 bolts in. Just start them, hand thread them in. Now that we got 2 bolts started, we'll slide our amplifier into place. And we'll put the other 2 screws in. Okay, now we're going to connect all of our wiring. We are using the Siren HD Volunteer Audio A to B plug. They really did a good job on this. There's no other device on the market as of now. You probably will see some coming, but these guys did a really good job and they have it tuned specifically for our speakers. We'll connect our harness. Tuck that over there. Connect our power wire. We're going to mount the A to B plug with Velcro. Now this is industrial grade Velcro. Plenty strong enough. And that's going to mount right here on the headlight. Then we'll zip tie and clean all the wiring up and it's pretty much ready to go.